There have been a lot of reports lately in the news that Disney is in talks to buy Fox, 20th Century Fox. And that's a big deal because, as you probably know, Disney owns Marvel Studios and Marvel Comics, but a lot of Marvel characters like the X-Men and Fantastic Four have been owned by Fox for quite a while now. I think ever since the 2000s or whatever, or 1999, it's been a while. You know, Fox made all those Fantastic Four movies, have made all of them so far, and all the X-Men movies. And the X-Men movies have been a bit more successful critically and financially than the Fantastic Four movies. But if Disney buys Fox, that means that Disney will own all the Marvel characters in the movies and TV shows, something a lot of fans have wanted for a long time. You know, Disney and Marvel to have all of their characters back so Marvel can control Marvel Studios, the X-Men, and the Fantastic Four movies. And that'll probably be how it goes if Disney does purchase Fox. However, and everyone has been focusing on that because, you know, the movies and the TV shows get the most money and the attention. But I'm focusing right now. I want to see what this does, if that happens, with the comics. Because X-Men comics, I read Marvel. Well, I read Marvel comics a lot when I was younger, but today the only comics I read by Marvel are X-Men comics, and I love the X-Men. And there are people who are saying that, like, you know, the X-Men don't really sell as well as they used to, and Marvel Comics doesn't focus on the X-Men that much anymore because they don't own the movie rights. There have been articles from various people at Marvel who've said or implied that, you know, Marvel Comics doesn't really want to promote the X-Men that much in the comics because they don't own the film rights. So that's why they're promoting a lot of Avengers characters and other characters over them. And a lot of people are arguing that X-Men comics today have fallen by the wayside in terms of writing quality. They're not like what they used to be in their heyday. You know, the X-Men for about 15 or 20 years dominated comic book charts, both Marvel and DC, because, you know, the Marvel Comics creators and editors would focus a lot of top talent and a lot of creative efforts on making sure the X-Men comic books were good and the artwork good and all that kind of stuff and the writing. And that's why X-Men sold so well, you know, during the Claremont years and after he had left. You know, it was like there are people who are in love with the X-Men, and there still are. But I currently read the X-Men comics, and I think they're fine. I mean, they aren't exactly like they were before, but I still love them. I mean, that's why they're the only things in Marvel I read. But I do wonder if Disney does acquire Fox and does own the X-Men rights again, live action, if that will make them promote the X-Men and focus on the X-Men like they did in the old days. And I also wonder if that will make Marvel stop trying to turn the Inhumans into the X-Men, because I don't think that has been working. You know, in the comics, they've been trying to plant story threads. I don't think they're doing that anymore. I think they abandoned that plan. But for a little while, they were trying to turn the Inhumans into X-Men substitutes because Marvel did have the rights to the Inhumans and not the X-Men. So they tried to make it seem like Inhumans were mutants. If you don't know, the Inhumans were created... They were like they were supporting characters in old Fantastic Four comics. And they were like this secluded society of people. And the Inhumans grew and evolved separated from the rest of mankind. And they would when people were matured, they would put them in the gas, the Terrigen Mist, that would give each Inhuman powers. And they didn't know, I think, what powers they would get before Terrigenesis. That's what the process was called. And the Inhumans separated themselves from humans. I think at first they lived somewhere on Earth, but later on they put themselves on the moon. And in the Fantastic Four comics, the Inhumans were kind of like, they were about like, you know, secluded society and eugenics and genetic manipulation. There were a lot of themes with the Inhumans that were completely different than mutants and the X-Men. They were never designed, the Inhumans, to be like the X-Men. They're two totally different concepts. So I always thought that Marvel's decision, because they didn't have the X-Men film rights, to try to make the Inhumans X-Men substitutes was misguided and just didn't work. I mean, I'm not saying the Inhumans... Some people will say the X-Men are better than Inhumans. That's why the X-Men were popular. But I don't really see it as better or worse. I just think they're just not the same. You know, it's trying to turn an apple into an orange. They're just not the same thing. And I'm glad if Disney does buy Fox, and a lot of people are indicating that it's going to happen, I hope that kills, finally, their effort to turn the Inhumans into the X-Men. It's like, no, keep them separate. I mean, just keep them their own things. They can interact I don't mean like, not talk to each other, but it's just like the X-Men are the X-Men and the Inhumans are the Inhumans. And I think my prediction is that the X-Men line is going to become a lot more prominent in Marvel Comics because Marvel will be able to promote them with abandon. And the Inhumans comics, I don't know. I don't know if Inhuman comics and Marvel have been selling that well. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Inhuman lines diminishes and they kind of go back to just being supporting characters for Fantastic Four or other franchises. We'll see. I'll admit I don't read the Inhumans comics at Marvel. They could be the best thing in the world and I wouldn't know because I don't read them. But I don't think the Inhumans are ever going to be as big as the X-Men because they just aren't. I mean, that could change someday, but I don't think it's worked so far, and I think that Marvel Comics needs to abandon that idea and just keep the Inhumans what they were before. Let the X-Men be the X-Men and have it be that. But I just wanted to make this video about my thoughts and predictions about Marvel Comics when it comes to the X-Men and the Inhumans in light of the situation with the movie rights and how that could change if Disney does indeed buy 21st Century Fox, which would be huge news. I think a lot of people, well, that's a separate video. There are some people who would love that for the movies, but there are some people who don't think the X-Men movies as they are now would really fit into the Marvel universe, the cinematic universe. But that's another video. But anyways, thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you want to watch me make more videos about comics and movies and TV shows. I appreciate your viewership. Thank you and have a nice day. Talk to you soon. Bye.